Weakness isn't just punished, it's exploited. This world isn't built for the kind-hearted to rise. It's built for the ruthless to win. The question is simple. Will you be the pawn, moved, sacrificed, forgotten? Or will you become the player, the strategist who sees every move before it's made? Toxic people, the Machiavellians, the manipulators, the hidden tyrants, they feed on your blind spots. Today, I'll rip those blind spots out of you. These are the weak habits, including toxic people's tricks, that allow them to outsmart you. A map into the underworld of dark psychology, and the tools to build your mental fort. If you're ready to burn weakness and forge power, comment this right now. I was born for the war they fear to fight. Let's begin. Number 1. You overshare. They don't need chains to control you. They only need your mouth to stay open. The first weak habit, you talk too much, you overshare, you hand out your inner world like it's candy, thinking it earns you connection. But in truth, it earns you a target on your back. Toxic people don't hunt randomly, they profile, they study, and when you reveal your fears, your regrets, your ambitions, they record them like weapons in an arsenal. One day, when you least expect it, they'll use your own words to bend you, break you, humiliate you. In the game of power, silence is a sword. Mystery is a shield. If they don't know what drives you, they can't redirect you. If they don't know what hurts you, they can't bleed you. Oversharing is self-sabotage dressed up as being real. Understand this. The most dangerous men in history didn't speak freely. They spoke strategically. Words to them were assets, not emotional outbursts. Want to be untouchable? Then speak like your tongue is a loaded weapon, and every word is a bullet you don't waste. Keep your plans silent. Let your victories be seen, not spoken. Starve manipulators of the ammunition they crave. And if someone demands your vulnerability early on, that's not a bond forming, it's a trap being set. So here's your mental rewire: speak less, observe more, guard your inner world like a vault, because power is preserved through privacy. If you're done being predictable, comment this now. My silence is louder than your schemes. Number 2. Triangulation. Divide, distract, dominate. Triangulation is a power move. Cold, calculated, ruthless. It's when a toxic person doesn't confront you directly. They redirect the war by dragging in a third party. Suddenly, it's not just between you and them. It's you, them, and someone else. And that third person, they're not neutral. They're the tool, the leverage, the chess piece used to make you feel replaceable. They'll mention how someone else agrees with their criticism. They'll compare you to an ex. They'll flirt in front of you, talk up another man's success, praise a rival. All to provoke one thing: insecurity, jealousy, doubt, emotional imbalance. Because when you're destabilized, you're easier to steer. You start second-guessing your worth. You compete for attention that should have been yours. You react, and they smile. Because now you're not grounded, you're off-center, and off-center men are easy to control. This is not random. It's a classic Machiavellian divide-and-conquer tactic. They use the third party to inflate their value while deflating yours. It creates chaos without direct attack. You can't call them out without looking insecure. You can't fight back without overreacting. It's designed to trap you in emotional quicksand while they maintain the high ground. But here's how you win. You don't play. You don't chase. You don't compare. You don't compete for crumbs. You withdraw your energy and let the manipulator feel the vacuum of your absence. You maintain frame. You stay solid while they try to triangulate chaos, because the man who doesn't flinch when others are used against him is the man they can't triangulate. You're not a pawn in their attention games. You are the board they can no longer move on. Comment this if you refuse to be used. I am not part of your triangle. I am the edge that cuts through it. Number 3. Playing the victim. The coward's throne. The most deceptive weapon in a manipulator's arsenal isn't rage, it's pity. Toxic people understand something most don't. They know that in a world that worships suffering, victimhood equals power. Not the kind of power that earns respect, but the kind that bypasses logic, that silences confrontation, that guilts strong men into submission. It's a form of warfare, moral blackmail, the art of pretending to be the wounded, while slowly, quietly sharpening the blade behind the scenes. They cry foul after they throw the first punch. They sabotage, then play innocent. They provoke, then collapse into tears when you respond. Why? Because when they look like the victim, they never have to be accountable. And the moment you push back, you become the monster, the abuser, the cold-hearted one. Sympathy becomes their shield, and manipulation becomes their silent command. Here's the Machiavellian truth. Victimhood, when used as a strategy, is one of the most dangerous psychological traps you will ever encounter, because it disarms the strong. It redirects the narrative. It places the focus not on what they did, but on how they felt when you reacted to it. It's emotional sleight of hand, a performance crafted to control perception. If you're not grounded, you'll fall for it. You'll comfort them, apologize to them, overcompensate for their chaos. You'll doubt yourself. You'll tone down your truth just to avoid hurting their fragile ego. And before you realize it, you're walking on eggshells while they run the entire room. But a strong man doesn't play into guilt theater. He doesn't submit to sob stories. He sees through the fog of emotion and tracks intentions. He watches behavior, not tears. He knows that the most dangerous manipulator is not the loud tyrant, but the soft, broken one who uses pain like a leash. You want to be untouchable? Stop getting emotionally hijacked by people who weaponize weakness. You're not cruel for protecting your boundaries. You're not toxic for pointing out the truth. And you're definitely not the villain for refusing to play along with their pity script. Remember, just because someone feels victimized doesn't mean you're the aggressor. Feelings are not facts. Emotion is not evidence. And crocodile tears don't rewrite reality. This is where cold power psychology kicks in. Respond with calm detachment. Don't explain. Don't console. Don't get pulled into their emotional spiral. Observe. Document. Enforce boundaries. If they shift blame, stand firm. If they play innocent, recount facts. If they melt down, stay ice. Because the second they realize you won't reward weakness with compliance, the game ends. You are not their rescuer. You are not their savior. You are not their emotional punching bag. You are the wall they can't climb, the boundary they can't cross, the reality they can't rewrite. Comment this now to mark the shift. Your victim act doesn't move me. I see through the performance. Number 4. You emotionally react too quickly. Every time you react emotionally, you give away your position on the battlefield. Toxic people are not random. They're strategic predators, throwing bait, setting traps, testing your stability. And the moment you flinch, explode, defend, or explain, they win, because now they know what breaks you. Understand this. Emotional control is not about becoming numb. It's about becoming calculated. Controlled fury is a weapon. Calm under pressure is a form of intimidation. A man who cannot be provoked is a man who cannot be manipulated. But weak minds, they bleed emotion at every turn. Someone disrespects you and you blow up. They smile because they own your thermostat. They know what dials to twist. And worse, now the crowd sees you as unstable while the manipulator walks away clean. Never forget, he who angers you conquers you. You want to be untouchable? Then adopt this rule. No reaction is your first response. Pause, analyze, read the room like a chessboard. Every insult, every slight, every passive-aggressive move, it's intel. They're handing you their playbook. Your job is not to react. Your job is to remember. Because once you master emotional stillness, you become terrifying. They can't read you, they can't shake you, they can't win. While they're throwing tantrums or playing games, you're watching, calculating, positioning. Stoicism is not weakness, it's psychological warfare. It turns your mind into steel and your presence into a riddle they can't solve. So train yourself. Control your face, master your tone, don't show your hand. Even when the room's on fire, you stay cold. Comment this now to hardwire the mindset. I am the calm before the storm, unreadable, unshakable, untouchable. Number 5. You apologize out of guilt. Guilt is a leash, and if they know you wear it, they'll yank it whenever they want compliance. Weak men apologize to escape discomfort. Powerful men don't apologize unless it's tactical, and that's the difference. See, toxic people are masters of moral manipulation. They weaponize your conscience, twist it, press it. They don't need evidence. You just have to feel bad. And once you do, you're theirs. They'll hit you with guilt trips, subtle disappointments, passive-aggressive silence, emotional blackmail. And if you've got the habit of apologizing just to smooth things over, congratulations. You've just handed them control. Let me make this clear. Guilt is not proof of wrongdoing. Guilt is an emotional illusion, and if you're trained to bend to it, you're trained to submit. They'll make you apologize for things you didn't do, for boundaries you were right to set, for reacting to their disrespect. They win by making you feel like the villain in your own defense. But here's the Machiavellian correction. Only apologize when it serves your long game, not when it makes them feel better, when you decide it's leverage. Otherwise, silence is the move. Stillness is the power. Cold detachment is your protection. The man who doesn't crumble under guilt cannot be coerced. This doesn't mean you're cruel, it means you're sovereign. You don't apologize to avoid discomfort. You confront it, absorb it, and let it harden you. Start asking yourself, am I saying sorry because I'm truly accountable? Or because I want to be liked, forgiven, or accepted? If it's the second, don't say a word. Remember, guilt is the door, and once they walk through it, they control the entire house. Comment this to seal the mindset. I do not kneel to guilt. I answer only to truth. Number 6, you need to be understood. Here's a brutal truth. The need to be understood is a trap. You think if they just get you, they'll respect you. If they hear your side, they'll change. If they understand your pain, they'll stop. But that's the delusion. Toxic people don't care about understanding you. They care about controlling you. And when you beg to be understood, you show them exactly where you're weak. It's a form of pleading, a cry for recognition. And in their hands, it becomes leverage. They'll pretend to listen, nods, sympathy, a fake pause. But inside, they're mapping your pressure points, your insecurities, your need for emotional validation. Understand this. The man who needs to be understood is already beneath the man who doesn't. The strong don't explain, they execute. They let results speak louder than their words ever could. They don't beg to be seen, they stand so firm they can't be ignored. You want peace? Let go of the need to justify yourself. You want power? Let them misunderstand you and remain unmoved. Because every time you try to explain your worth, you imply that it's not obvious, that it needs permission. Think about that. This is why the Machiavellian mind is dangerous. It doesn't need consensus. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't even need to be liked. It needs results. That's what makes it untouchable. That's what drives fear into manipulators. They can't find your emotional hook because there isn't one. So when they twist your words, when they misrepresent you, when they pretend not to get you, let them. Say nothing. Do more. Let your silence haunt them. Let your actions dominate them. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be respected. Comment this now to lock it in. I am not here to be understood. I am here to be undeniable. Number 7. Calculated aggression, the knife hidden in the compliment. They don't always punch you in the face. Sometimes they smile while sliding the knife between your ribs. Calculated aggression is the subtle art of controlled attack. Toxic people don't always yell, threaten, or explode. That's too obvious. Too easy to expose. No, these predators use precision. They drop passive-aggressive remarks, backhanded compliments, sarcastic digs disguised as jokes, all wrapped in a tone that makes you look crazy for reacting. They'll say, "You're doing great," as for someone like you. Not everyone has to be a genius. Relax, I was kidding. Can't you take a joke? The goal isn't to fight. It's to chip away at your confidence without taking credit for the damage. One insult at a time. One tiny jab, repeated until you start questioning your worth. They're planting doubt in your identity while keeping their hands clean. This is psychological erosion, not a blast, a drip. Over time, it creates cracks in even the strongest minds. And if you're weak, you'll laugh it off, justify it, make excuses. You'll keep the peace thinking, they didn't mean it like that. But here's the reality, they did. Because nothing about calculated aggression is accidental. Here's how the Machiavellian mind handles it. You don't react emotionally. You log it. You study the pattern. And when the time is right, you cut the cord. No dramatic exit. No begging for respect. Just distance. Because anyone who attacks in disguise is a coward in strategy. And cowards don't deserve proximity to power. The untouchable man doesn't tolerate subtle disrespect. He doesn't explain why it was wrong. He doesn't play therapist to a manipulator. He simply sees it, names it, and moves on. Comment this if you've outgrown passive attacks. I don't laugh with knives, I remove them. Number 8. You're too agreeable. Being liked is not a strength. It's a weakness dressed in smiles. Over-agreeableness is the silent killer of masculine authority. It's the compulsion to nod, to please, to avoid friction at all costs. You think you're keeping the peace. In reality, you're sacrificing power for approval. Toxic people love agreeable men because they don't push back, they don't question, and they're easy to dominate. You don't even realize you're being used. You think you're being kind. They see a pawn too afraid to be disliked. This is how manipulators trap you. They reward your compliance with temporary praise. And like a well-trained dog, you keep chasing that praise. But the moment you stop serving their agenda, they discard you, ghost you, or worse, turn on you. Because agreeable men aren't respected. They're tolerated, used, forgotten. Power is not built through people-pleasing. Power is built through boundaries, assertiveness, and willingness to confront. The Machiavellian mind understands this. Fear of disapproval is fear of freedom. As long as you seek to be universally liked, you are universally weak. The most influential men in history weren't agreeable. They were polarizing. They spoke with clarity, not compromise. They chose truth over harmony, respect over likability. You want to be unshakable? Then let people dislike you. Let them misunderstand your silence. Let them choke on their own assumptions. Because when you stand your ground, you send a message. I don't bend for comfort. I bend reality to me. Understand, agreeableness is often a mask for fear. Fear of rejection, fear of isolation, fear of saying no and dealing with the backlash. But that fear is exactly what toxic people exploit. They don't need to overpower you. They just need you to keep saying yes to things that kill your time, your purpose, and your edge. So here's your commandment. Stop softening your truth. Stop muting your instincts. Stop diluting your identity just to keep people from feeling uncomfortable. Your job is not to be easy to digest. Your job is to be impossible to manipulate. And if that makes you the villain in someone's story, good. That means you stopped playing the supporting role in your own. Comment this now to cement it. I wasn't born to be liked. I was born to be respected. Number 9. Silent treatment. The manipulator's weaponized absence. Silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's a weapon. And in the hands of a toxic person, the silent treatment becomes a calculated act of psychological warfare. It's not just about withdrawing communication. It's about control. About creating a void so loud it drowns your stability. They don't scream. They vanish. They freeze you out, knowing that most people fear silence more than conflict. And in that fear, they own you. This isn't accidental. The manipulator uses silence the way a predator uses distance. They want you on edge, questioning, anxious, replaying every word you said, wondering if you're the problem. The genius of this tactic is in what it provokes. Your need for resolution, your need for clarity, your need for connection. And when they cut that off, you become emotionally starved. You start chasing, apologizing, trying to fix things you didn't break. That's the trap. And what they're really doing is establishing dominance. Without saying a word, they want you off balance. They want you in your head, overthinking, submitting. And if it works once, they'll use it every time you resist, speak truth, or dare to assert yourself. Understand this. The silent treatment isn't a communication issue. It's a power play. The goal is to make you feel invisible, unstable, and ultimately compliant. Because silence, when used strategically, doesn't heal, it controls. The Machiavellian correction: stop fearing silence, start matching it. Do not chase someone who's weaponizing their absence. Do not explain yourself to ghosts. When someone withdraws to punish you, let them starve. Let them face the consequences of your indifference. Let them see that silence doesn't move you, it liberates you. This is masculine stoicism at its core. When they retreat, you fortify. When they go silent, you go still. No reaction, no panic, no need to fix. That's how power responds to emotional blackmail. It doesn't. You don't punish them. You don't play their game. You simply don't need them. That's the power they fear most. Let this be your rule. Anyone who uses silence to control you is not worth hearing again. You deserve communication, not coercion. Respect, not emotional games. Comment this to lock in the mindset. I don't chase silence, I master it. Number 10. You lack boundaries and you want to be good. Weak men break because they have no boundaries. Broken men stay broken because they still want to be good. Let's end this clean. If you lack boundaries, you are not kind. You are vulnerable. You're not being compassionate. You're being controlled. Toxic people exploit the unguarded. They move fast, test early, and push hard. And if you hesitate to draw the line, they don't back off. They dig deeper. The absence of boundaries signals you are available for exploitation. Every time you tolerate disrespect, overlook manipulation, or give second chances to liars, you are training them to violate you. And the reason most men don't enforce boundaries, they still want to be good. They want to be liked, understood, seen as reasonable, generous, forgiving. But here's the Machiavellian truth. Good is often just another word for harmless. And harmless men are not respected. They are used. Powerful men aren't obsessed with being good, they're obsessed with being effective. They don't fold when guilt knocks. They don't soften their standards just to avoid confrontation. They draw lines that cut. Not because they enjoy it, but because they know what's at stake if they don't. If you want to stop being a target, stop trying to be agreeable, start being unavailable, start being selective, start saying no with zero emotion and zero explanation. That's the language of power. That's how real respect is built. Not through self-sacrifice, but through self-sovereignty. Here's the final shift. You weren't put here to be nice. You were built to be disciplined, grounded, and untouchable. Comment this now to seal the transformation. I'd rather be respected with silence than loved for weakness. The rise of the untouchable. Now you see the game for what it truly is: psychological warfare, quiet, strategic, ruthless. It's not waged with fists or volume, it's waged through subtle manipulation, emotional traps, and covert domination. And if you've made it here, you're not average. You've felt the sting of betrayal. You've seen behind the mask. You've been played, used, maybe even broken. But now you're waking up, not to heal, but to harden. The untouchable man doesn't beg, bend, or break. He doesn't seek validation. He doesn't need to be understood. He watches, calculates, adapts. He is emotionally lean, psychologically armored, spiritually untamed. He speaks less, observes more. And when pressure hits, he doesn't flinch, he locks in. This man doesn't play the victim. He doesn't run from conflict. He doesn't drown in guilt. He's not here to be liked. He's here to command respect, because he knows that power isn't about control over others. It's about full command of self. And that kind of self-possession? It's terrifying to manipulators, because they can't move him, can't trigger him, can't guilt, seduce, or outmaneuver him. He doesn't react, he decides. That's who you've been building with every part of this series. No more weak habits. No more apologies for existing. No more leaking your power through softness disguised as goodness. You are not here to please. You are here to fortify. This is your final blueprint: silence over emotion, distance over desperation, boundaries over approval, truth over harmony, respect over everything. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them plot. None of it matters. You've become the one thing they cannot touch: a man who owns his mind. Comment this now if you're done being prey. I've buried the victim. I've awakened the weapon. And if this monologue forged something inside you, prove it. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. This is Psygorithm, where soft minds break and cold minds rise.